Welcome and thank you for taking a few minutes to listen to this year's series of County Government Listening Up coaching sessions presented by the Association of County Commissions of Alabama and designed to provide a useful look at some of the most pressing legislative issues impacting Alabama's 67 county governments as we prepare for the 2021 legislative session. I'm Sonny Brasfield, Executive Director of the Association, and over the next few minutes, I'd like to focus our attention on the impact of and history behind a piece of priority legislation that is important for all county governments during the legislature's 2021 regular session. Today, our discussion is going to turn to something that is very timely and something that has changed all of our lives in the last several months, and that's COVID-19 and specifically its impact on the financial and legal exposure that counties as well as businesses and others are concerned about in the future as it relates to COVID-19. Legislation was introduced late in the 2020 regular session by Senator Arthur Orr that would restrict some of the circumstances under which businesses and county government would be liable for lawsuits that result from activities connected to the spread of the COVID pandemic. One of the things that's happened over the last several months is that businesses and county governments have worked very, very hard to implement the CDC guidelines, to follow all the procedures and practices that have been passed down from the CDC and from the federal and state governments. But even so, we know this disease has spread at an alarming rate and is something that none of us can control. This piece of legislation would deal specifically with those questions. What are the circumstances under which a business or a governmental entity should be liable for the spread of the disease? And what are the circumstances under which there are things that are just out of our control? We think the legislation strikes a balance between those two issues, providing protection not only for the businesses and for counties, but also for the employees that are there to make sure that those people who came back and worked during these challenging times are also protected from lawsuits that are not based on specific and significant neglect. And certainly when those circumstances occur, there would be no efforts by counties or others to prohibit people from seeking recourse in the court systems. But under those circumstances where everyone has followed the procedures and practices, this piece of legislation would ensure that there are protections and safeguards in place in the law. Again, we think this bill strikes a balance. We look forward to working with Senator Orr and the House sponsors of this legislation in the 2021 session. It is a priority for counties as we continue to do everything we can to give access to the general public to all of the government services that are absolutely necessary during these challenging times, but that quite honestly have been difficult to deliver at the local level. If you have any questions about this legislation or any other county initiatives during the 2021 session, we encourage you to reach out to the association. You can also check out all of our activities and policy initiatives at alabamacounties.org. You can follow us on Twitter at @AlabamaCounties, and you can even follow me if you'd like at Sonny Brasfield. Thank you for taking a few minutes to listen to our discussion of this important issue and for your efforts to better understand Alabama's county governments. Thank you very much.